The cell. Okay, so you're using your yellow notes and you're filling in the stuff that's red. Cells are basic unit of structure and function in all living things. That pretty much means that all living things are made of cells. And we know that viruses are not living because they're not made of cells. They have to hijack a cell. All living things are made up of one or more cells. They're microscopic. That means you cannot see it with the naked eye. You need an instrument to help you. They take in nutrients, which provides the cell with energy. So taking in nutrients is ingestion, and providing the cell with energy is respiration, right? Every cell in my body needs nutrients and oxygen. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so these two pictures show you cells. To the left, you see algae. Each individual cell is able to survive all by itself because it's able to do everything it needs to in order to stay alive. It has all the life processes can be accomplished. On this side, it's yeast. Both of these are in two different kingdoms. The algae are in the kingdom Plantae, or they could also be, they're in the kingdom Protista because they have one cell. And the yeast are in the fungi kingdom because they're heterotrophs. Look, they're not green. All right, all cells can carry on the basic life processes like Mr. G. Trent or Mr. R. Trang. They can do everything that an organism can do. Individually, every cell can do all the life processes. All right, so if it's unicellular, that means you're only one cell. Your examples, Monera, Protista. Even some of your fungi, like yeast, was from the fungi. So staph bacteria. Bacteria is from the Monera because they do not have a nucleus. Paramecium are unicellular, but they have a nucleus, and they have lots of little adaptations. Look at these little cilia, the little hairs. This is a protista because, or a protist, it is unicellular with a nucleus, and it can move. Multicellular means it has many cells. So your fungi, your plants, your animals are all many-celled organisms, like your mushrooms are fungi, your plants, and your armadillo, which is your animal. His adaptation is a physical feature that allows him to survive is his hard back, but there's lots of other adaptations. The fact that he has claws and a tail and ears, any physical feature that allows him to survive. Cells reproduce. When they reproduce, they can split into two. If they split into two and they reproduce all by themselves, we call that asexual because it only involves one parent. So this is what happens. The DNA right here is green, but now you see two colors. That means it replicated. Once it replicated and made copies of itself, it's capable now of multiplying. So it will pinch at the middle, called binary fission, and it will create two new cells. So this is an example of how one cell becomes two. A lot of your body cells have the capability of doing that. If you need new skin, you have to create it yourself. Your body has to make new skin cells. Your nerve cells do not have the ability to do that. So once you kill them, that's it. They're done. They cannot reproduce. So that's why you have to be really careful. Make good choices. This is called a hydra. This guy is a multi-celled organism, so he can reproduce asexually too. But it only involves one parent, but it involves more than one cell because the whole little guy has to grow off of him and reproduce asexually. All right, cells have different jobs. Their jobs are all based on what they look like. So red blood cells look like little donuts. They can carry oxygen. Nerve cells are long and skinny. They transfer information and they can store information. All cells have a different shape that allows them to do their jobs. Look at this little donut. See? There's a little hole here. Perfect to fit the little oxygen. The nerve cells are long. They stretch out and they can touch each other so they can travel very quickly like lightning through an organism so they can send messages. How cool is this long? This is in your body. It's so tiny. If you ruin one of these, you're going to break the connection. So killing one is not so bad, but nerve damage would be you kill a whole bunch of them, and then they can't send the message. So parts of your body won't work. People that break their spinal cord, they broke all those nerves. They can't walk anymore because they broke the connection. This cannot do its job. There's no way it can reach to the other one. All right, cell parts. There are three main cell parts. Every cell has these three main parts. Every cell, doesn't matter, has a cell membrane. It's almost like a baggie. They have to hold everything in. So it's like the outside holds everything in. It also has cytoplasm, like the gooey stuff in the middle, and a nucleus. Cytoplasm soup, cytoplasm soup, cytoplasm soup, put the nucleus inside. Your cytoplasm is that gooey stuff on the inside. The nucleus is the boss. It has all of the genetic information, and your cell membrane holds everything in. All the other stuff changes depending upon what type of organism you have or what type of cell it is. Not everything has all the inner compartments, except these three are the structures that are consistent. So what does your cell membrane do? It surrounds the cell, but it does more than surrounds it. It protects it. It gives it structure. It is like the baggie that holds everything in. The cytoplasm is what it's filled with. If there wasn't any cytoplasm, nothing would move. It would be like stuck to the side. It would be disgusting. Nothing can move around. So you need that gel. And that's where all your cell activities occur. All of the chemical activities can occur inside the cytoplasm. And the nucleus, pretty much, that's the boss. That is the main control center. It has all the DNA. It tells the cell what to do at all times. It directs the cell. And because it has all the DNA, it's also responsible for reproduction. Because the basic function of the cell really is to make more. Because once this cell dies, it has to make more. So it has to be able to reproduce, and it has to be able to reproduce properly. If it reproduces improperly, that's bad news. That's cancer. If it rapidly reproduces incorrectly. All right. So your first cell part is your cell membrane. We like to say, or we'd like to form some kind of image so that you remember what these things are. So like the cell membrane is like the gatekeeper. So you see this little purple thing? It's allowing the little molecule to come in. But the cell membrane doesn't allow everything to come in. It tries to stop bad things from coming in. I mean, if you have too much of something, it's going to let like poison and stuff. Well, that's just going to break the barrier and come in. But it doesn't want it to come in, so it's going to fight not to. But it wants this little red thing. It's probably a nutrient to come in, so it's going to let it come in. So your cell membrane protects the inside of the cell. It gives it support and shape, and it also controls movement in and out. The word control can also be substituted for the word regulate. So when you see control, regulate, maintains, all those words are synonyms. They all mean the same thing. Cytoplasm soup, cytoplasm soup, cytoplasm soup with the nucleus inside. This is where all your cellular activity takes place. This is what holds the organelles in their place. It helps transport things and distribute things and move things around. It's like a swimming pool for the cell. If the cells were not filled with cytoplasm, you would be dehydrated and you would die. So it needs it. It needs it so that the chemical activities can take place. And the nucleus, which is the control center, controls all the life processes. It controls the metabolism of the cell, and it also controls reproduction. This is where the DNA is stored. This is where the genetic information is, the instructions, the blueprints. This helps the cell function and reproduce. All right, we're going to go into the individual organelles, but right now you need to stop. You need to stop, and you'll need to look at your new packet. Your new packet shows you, first page is the cell with all of the definitions. So you're going to define that on page 1. You're also going to look at page 2. You're going to define what are the cell's main parts by using this video. And you're also going to do page 3 when you're done. So you're doing pages 1 and pages 2. And when you're done, you will raise your hand. When you're done with pages 1 and 2, you can go on to the next movie. Okay. Thank you very much.